Hi, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense here on YouTube. I recently saw what I think of as kind of a silly question on Quora, but it was this: if I'm innocent, why do I need a lawyer? Well, that's exactly why you need a lawyer. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. If you're innocent, that is the reason you need a lawyer. I had a case several years ago where the state of Missouri went after a registered nurse, and they went after him on the basis of several complaints by coworkers that he was giving drugs that were not prescribed. The evidence was flimsy. He had gone in and tried to explain himself, but nobody listened. He wound up getting fired, and as a result, we wound up taking this to trial in front of the Administrative Hearing Commission in Missouri. That was a real eye-opener for me with regard to how the state can abuse its power, because that's what the state did. The drug that he was supposed to have used is a drug called propofol, and it has a half-life of about 9 minutes, which means if you give a bolus of it, about 9 minutes later it's gone. So you either have to hang a bag of it, which they couldn't claim that he did because they couldn't find any bag that had propofol in it, or you have to claim that he gave this bolus and that had long-lasting effects long after he was gone. After the state put on its first witness, I cross-examined him brutally, and he basically admitted, yeah, you're right, nothing your guy did could have caused this. The state still tried to pin it on him. We went through another 2 days of testimony, which I thought was really above and beyond the call. In that case, we didn't even have police involved. I was involved in another case where a man was accused of having an inappropriate sexual contact with a minor. And the entire case was premised on a series of text messages where the state did not have the actual text messages, but what it did have was the number of text messages, and it said that the number of text messages had to indicate something bad, which would be true except for the fact that the information contained in those text messages was where this individual was trying to help the minor with some homework problems. The minor would text a question and the other person would send a reply back. From this, the state built up a huge idea that there had been sexual contact, primarily because the young lady who was involved decided she should make her boyfriend jealous by making this allegation, and then it just grew beyond the realm of reasonability. And unfortunately, we had to go to trial in order to get this gentleman acquitted. Now, I have to tell you, if you don't have a lawyer and you are innocent, you are in deep doo-doo, because the state has ways of asking questions that are, frankly, they can be terrifying. And they get to ask questions, and if you don't know your rights and you don't know what you can answer and what you can't answer, or what your rights are with regard to stopping an interrogation altogether, then you are at the mercy of the police, and they may or may not treat you fairly. Certainly not all police do things that are bad. Certainly not all detectives do things that are bad. But in the case that I was involved in, the detective was really quite the jerk and treated the client exceptionally badly. My belief is you need a lawyer anytime you're going up against the state. And for that matter, even in a civil case, if you're trying to get damages or stop somebody else from getting damages against you, you need to have an attorney. Because if you don't, you've got an uphill battle, and if you don't know the rules, you are more than likely going to lose on technical grounds instead of losing because you did something bad. So, that's the reason why even innocent people need a lawyer. In fact, it is the innocent person who needs the lawyer the very most. A couple of years ago, I represented a doctor, and the doctor was charged with some malfeasance with regard to prescription pads. And he tried to argue his way out of it with the investigator, and it didn't wind up very favorably for him, at least in the initial stages. We were ultimately able to get the complaint dismissed. But the bottom line was he had made it worse by talking up front. If you have a problem that involves the police or the state in any capacity, get a lawyer. Say nothing until you have a lawyer by your side. And then only answer the question if your lawyer tells you that you can. So, that's my take on why you need a lawyer if you're innocent. If you enjoyed this, I would really appreciate it if you'd smash that like button for me. And if you haven't already, go over here and click on the subscribe icon so that you can be notified whenever we release a video on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a terrific day.